Hi, welcome to this channel on magnetic energy technology principles applications. This video is about ozone depletion. This is extremely unconventional information. I have been trying to put this off as long as I can, but now it's time and I need to do this video. So, this topic is even wildly unpopular in the alternative science community where electricity is the primary focus. So, even though the veracity of our information has been confirmed essentially around the world by various government agencies and private labs, what I'm sharing now is something that I haven't shared before, all of this that I'm going to share in this video, and it's it was stressed over and over how critical the situation is right now for humanity and what's happening with the ozone layer. So I gotta really get in and share this. So what is the primary cause of ozone depletion in this etheric magnetic model of the universe? The conventional generation of electricity, such as coal, nuclear, and hydroelectric plants, is the primary cause of ozone depletion, and ozone depletion will not stop unless these megawatt generators stop. So there's just no way around it. Why do conventional power plants deplete the ozone layer according to this model? The ozone layer consists of molecular structures that contain polarized vortices, or what scientists will identify one day as single vortices. In conventional terms, we typically will call them free electrons. These molecular structures are designed in resonance and in polarity to bind to incoming solar energetic structures and render them neutral, thereby filtering out dangerous radiation. This is very important for life on this planet. The problem is conventional power plants create imbalanced attract structures that draw upon these single vortices to complete basically the circuits that they're creating in the conductors. And in conventional terms, the conductors of conventional power plants are essentially taking free electrons from the ozone layer at a rate that cannot be replenished. And the result is ozone depletion. Now, the reason they do that partly is because they incorporate such powerful magnetic fields, and as soon as you have a magnetic field, you are connecting to the greater system. And so the idea of the interchange of elements and particles at a distance, this is a kind of a quantum process, quantum and attract process. It happens at every single conventional power generating station. Is there a way to generate electricity without depleting the ozone layer? So if we transition from forced hot electricity to cold on-demand electricity with resonating conductors, like I've talked about in another video, we will stop depleting the ozone layer. Cold electricity is similar to magnetic current or neutral magnetic current and flowing ions, and it is not a forced process. It is attracted through a conductor only when necessary, so it's far more efficient than conventional electrical generation. Do conventional solar panels cause ozone depletion? As far as we know, photovoltaic solar panels that directly provide electricity do not cause ozone depletion. On the other hand, a solar field that simply focuses sunlight and ultimately just drives an unconventional power station, it contributes to ozone depletion the same way any other power plant would. Aren't chemicals the cause of ozone depletion? In the conventional model, yes, of course they are. In this model, the chemicals, they cause a very small amount of ozone depletion compared to electricity. The problem, though, is even that small amount is becoming critical given the current status of the ozone layer in our current situation. So how bad is this problem really? If ozone depletion hits a tipping point, according to our sources, and they stress this over and over, the depletion will accelerate rapidly around the globe, creating an extinction event for surface life. So pretty serious. This problem is a top concern for life on this planet, according to the sources of our information. Our government's aware of the connection between electricity and ozone depletion. And to our knowledge, and what we have confirmed, is top secret government agencies have been aware of this connection between electrical generation and ozone depletion for decades. And they have ample evidence to support that connection. Do solar events such as coronal mass ejections contribute to ozone depletion? Normally, like CMEs and solar radiation, that those events are managed by the ionosphere and the ozone layer with replenishment happening in a timely manner. But because the overall ozone pool is so diminished right now, that the solar events are significantly impacting the ozone levels, and they pose a much greater threat than they normally would, like prior to electricity, for example, which is really serious if you start to think about what's happening right now with the sun and everything. So why do ozone holes form at the poles primarily? The poles are the areas of excursion and incursion for the toroidal field, where magnetic compression is the greatest. So depletion shows up in these areas first because the depth of the field is less and the vortex strength is greater. So there's a lot of, like, it's easier for the holes to form in those areas. However, ozone holes at the poles are very serious indicators that the entire ozone layer is thinning out, and small ozone holes around the globe have already been forming. So what can be done to fix ozone depletion? Obviously, the conventional electrical generation, such as coal, nuclear, hydroelectric, must be stopped. Once magnetic technology is in use, it can help build the ozone layer rather quickly, and so that would probably be one of the first priorities with this technology becoming more widespread, is rebuilding the ozone layer and using the technology to help in that process. Can the ozone layer be modified to produce more ozone? So here's the thing, the particle template pool for the ozone layer is optimized for life on this planet. Increasing the particle count, which is possible, but it would have undesirable consequences. The rate of ozone replenishment is determined by the draw on the system, and increasing the draw to try to encourage a speedier replenishment of the ozone layer will also have very undesirable global consequences. So there's basically no realistic way to solve the problem other than halting the megawatt generation of electricity that incorporates the magnetic fields, like the strong electromagnetic fields, the coils and all that. That's really where the problem is mostly coming from. How long do we have until the point of no return? If electricity generation continues at its current rate or actually increases, and the solar storms continue to do what they're predicted to do, the ozone layer will become so thin around the globe that the effects of the radiation will be undeniable within 10 years. At this point, serious action must be taken to avoid a cataclysmic reduction in the ozone layer. Can governments stop this problem by spraying chemicals into the atmosphere? Absolutely not. The problem is that the atmospheric system is designed to maintain very specific ratios of energetic signatures, elemental signatures, chemical signatures, and anything that's not in resonance with that system automatically gets filtered out. And if some of it is relatively fast, you have suspended particles that are being sprayed all over the planet, those will ultimately be filtered out by the system as well because they're not in resonance with anything, and so the system just won't respond to it. The field can be supplemented with exacting pulsing magnetic fields that attract the appropriate energy structures that reside in the ozone layer, and that can help rebuild the ozone layer very fast, relatively speaking, but that takes like our neutral type of magnetic technology. Can other beings, this is a question that comes in too, can other beings help solve this problem? Ozone depletion is one of the many reasons that change is essentially being forced upon humanity by other beings in an orchestrated effort and a very tight timetable. These beings will not simply shut down our electrical grids, primarily because of nuclear power plants. So shutting down the electrical grid can result in hundreds of nuclear power plants having meltdowns. So magnetic technology is kind of where that needs to come into play to help with this transition and get away from the nuclear power and the danger of it. And that magnetic technology has already been given to governments around the world, and it'll give us the ability, humans, the ability to neutralize radioactive materials and safely decommission the nuclear power plants. At that point, once all conventional electrical generation is stopped, like all the other kind of power plants as well, then ozone depletion will stop, and magnetic technology can then provide us with all the power that we need all through this interim. It could begin providing us with that power before even the shutdown takes place. And then then we can actually transition more into a magnetic society that is much safer, much healthier, rebuilding the ozone layer, repairing the ionosphere, which is highly damaged, and so on, and the environment, everything I talk about in these videos. As far as direct, like visible intervention from higher beings goes, that will only happen, as far as we've been told, in an absolute emergency. So unless there's something so dire where they have to intervene on our behalf, and to prevent extinction, basically, that will not be happening as far as I know. So thank you for sending in questions. Please continue to send in any questions regarding ozone depletion and anything that relating to that topic, and I look forward to hopefully doing a more uplifting, positive video in the future. But thanks for all of your input and your feedback. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.